So Friday night to Saturday morning, I put out, I don't even know, this is the thing with putting out music. You're never really sure how much music you put out. You kind of put the tracks together. There was a 4-minute track, a few 3-minute tracks. I don't know whether it'd be classified as an LP or an EP. All these classifications happen after the fact. And I've not actually listened to the tracks in order either. This is the least amount of effort I put into releasing an album in quite some time. Just because I just had to get this music out. It's been sitting on my hard disk for too long, and I'm doing a bunch of just Blank Chaos related work currently too, and I just needed to get this stuff out. I needed just catharsis at this time to get this stuff out, so it's out there and I can continue working on new stuff. And in the process of getting the music out, I realized that my last release, I think, was in July last year, and this really represents the gulf between July and now. And my wife is going on vacation with her sisters at the end of this month, which will give me more time to record more music. That's really why I wanted to get it out, because I've got this coming up deadline of my wife going on vacation. The new album is called Danger Red Pieces, as in pieces of silver. And that comes through a... Should I reveal it on this podcast? Why don't I reveal it on this podcast? I've started listening to music that I listened to in the early 90s and transposing classical music over the top of that. So the main track on this recording, which is about 4 minutes long because I looped some bits and pieces, is based on the rhythm and progression of Ice Cube's Endangered Species, in particular the version that was on Kill It Will. And I thought it was a really interesting discipline to overdub or play music over the top of this thing and then see if this thing can become, like the music that you've created, a thing in and of itself. It's been quite an interesting experiment. I'm not sure if I don't think any of the other music that's on the CD is part of that. I did 3 tracks, I think, like that while my wife was away. I can't remember when. Maybe October last year. Anyway, sometime last year, which became the naming track, at least, of this recording. And I realized that all my prior music is, well, at least in the past, well, no, actually, this is not, all my prior music now that's available electronically has Noble Ape in front of it, which was used in direct response to the nonsense that I was experiencing, primarily to identify that there's a bunch of existing copyrighted work in the music domain. So now this thing is over. Now one becomes the vanquished in this circumstance. I'm thinking I would need to re-release a good portion of this music under a new name, or just keep it under my name as my name, but, change the title of this thing. Maybe create an Essentials 1, 2, 3 album or something like that, just as a means of containing this thing in something that, others will be able to view in the future, but isn't part of this nonsense. And I released a single on June 13th. Would it have been last year or maybe the year before? I can't remember. Maybe the year before even. Which I've pulled completely because it starts associated with describing the Wikipedia entry and stuff like that. And I'm just like, if ever there was a device that was used against me specifically, it might have been that track in terms of, okay, let's lay out the things that we're going to do to mess with this individual. I pulled that track a long time ago, probably, I don't know, in the vicinity of a year ago. And yeah, that will not be going on any compilations. But I think some of the music is worth continuing on with. What's interesting is actually the pieces that people enjoy are sometimes very distinct than the pieces that I enjoy. My father actually seems to enjoy a lot of the same pieces that I like. But other folks that have given me feedback on this thing have said that they like other pieces. I'm thinking specifically of Malcolm Johnson, who liked the one track on Milk and Medicine, although it's the title track, that I really had a lot of trouble with, but he seemed to like it. So I guess my view is that these Essentials will probably be perhaps slightly better stereo mixed versions of the stuff that's already come out historically. And then we'll just eliminate the Noble Ape name over time. Deal with it that way, as if it never existed, which is the way it exists on Google currently. And yeah, while I've been out, I've not been out from work, but I've been somewhat reduced in energy based on this thing being removed from my chest. I got the call. I should note that it was not cancer. I wasn't even anticipating receiving a call indicating its cancer status. It didn't appear to me to be, came out like a little pearl, or not a little pearl, a golf ball-sized pearl, which didn't look anything like... I mean, I've never heard of calciumated or whatever cancers, so... Yeah, I wasn't really anticipating that I'd even receive a call indicating whether or not it was cancer, but I did receive a call. Anyway, so after all that is said and done, I've been not necessarily... I mean, I have honestly been quite taken back in terms of just energy based on the surgery, but I've been utilising the time to do a variety of different small things. I'm at a stage of Just Plain Chaos where I want to add more dialogue. I'm getting to that phase where I'm just like, there's described dialogue which could be actual dialogue, and it's worth putting in actual dialogue, which may just delay everything a little bit more. But sometimes you need to delay things in order to get things out the way you want them to be. So maybe that is the learning from this thing, that a little delay occasionally isn't the end of the world. And the light levels and the temperature and these things are improving. These 2 months, the first 2 months of the year, are always really hard for me in the Northern Hemisphere. But somehow I managed to get through them and get stuff done. And if you keep hearing striking sounds outside, there's crazy wind that's blown over trees in the street and seems to be blowing trees into the house, into my podcasting room. So I don't know if it's actually going to take out a window or two, but it's being overly dramatic while I record this podcast today. So I probably best just sign off at this point.